July 22, 2025. News sites from Fox 5 DC, AP News to the Scottish Sun simultaneously reported Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary singer of Black Sabbath, passed away at his home after a stroke at the age of 76. The entire music world was shocked, but in the darkness of that loss, something was wrong. According to many sources close to him, Ozzy lived a very quiet life in his final days, completely opposite to the rebellious image he had built. It was rumored that he was completing a secret diary, a place to record confessions, music industry secrets, and even untold memories of famous rockers. But that diary, no one had ever seen it. At the private funeral, his son, Jack Osbourne, choked up and shared, he was ready to tell the truth, but there was no time. The question that haunts fans the most, what made Ozzy choose to stay silent until the very end? And what did he not have time to say?
John Michael Osbourne, whose birth name few remember, was born in 1948 in Aston, Birmingham, England, one of the poorest industrial areas of Britain at the time. His family was not well off. His father was an assembly worker, his mother worked in a factory, and Ozzy was one of 6 children crammed into a cramped home. Ozzy was diagnosed with dyslexia as a young boy, which prevented him from keeping up with his studies. This led to him being bullied and labeled useless by his teachers. In an interview, he bitterly admitted, "I learned more from Tony Iommi's guitar playing than I did from 10 years of school." Ozzy's childhood was not an inspirational tale. It was a dark dungeon filled with guilt, anger, and music. It was in that Aston neighborhood, where industrial smoke filled the sky, that Ozzy met Tony Iommi, the man with whom he would form the band Black Sabbath and send heavy metal into history.
When Black Sabbath released their debut album in 1970, Britain, and then the world, was mesmerized by a dark, heavy metal sound unlike anything that had come before. And at the center of the storm was Ozzy Osbourne, a voice with a haunting, feral, almost otherworldly tone. Ozzy became a living legend, dubbed the Prince of Darkness. But the darkness he brought to his music also gradually seeped into him. Alcohol, drugs, endless partying, not the mark of a free-spirited artist, but a mask to hide the insecurities and emptiness of his childhood. He admitted in his autobiography, "I never wanted to be a legend. I just wanted to survive the night." In 1979, after a series of chaotic shows, conflicts, and drug abuse, Ozzy was fired by his own members of Black Sabbath. That moment marked not just the end of an era, but the beginning of an unprecedented decline. After being fired by Black Sabbath, everyone thought Ozzy would disappear. But ironically, that was when he achieved his greatest personal success, with a series of hits such as Crazy Train, Mr. Crowley, and especially the album Blizzard of Oz, 1980. However, the spotlight could not save him from another darkness, quieter, more insidious, that was slowly eating away at his body. Starting in the 2000s, Ozzy continued to have neurological problems, shaking hands, losing control of his voice, and by 2020, he officially confirmed he had Parkinson's disease. The disease progressed slowly but was completely devastating. His famous voice gradually disappeared, his body convulsed, and his eyes that once burned on stage were now dull behind frosted glasses. However, he still appeared in public, leaning on a cane, shaking but smiling, an image that left millions of fans speechless, not because of greatness, but because he lives, literally, every last day as a farewell.
On July 22, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne breathed his last breath at his Buckinghamshire mansion. No stage, no spotlight, no enthusiastic audience. Only his family by his side and an unfinished notebook placed on his bedside table. Many believed that it was his life diary, where Ozzy once planned to tell the secrets no one had ever known, the scandals, the mysteries of the rock world, and the deep regrets that he never dared to reveal. But that diary, until now, no one has ever seen it. His wife, Sharon, simply said, "There are truths that don't necessarily need to be told. Maybe he wanted to keep them so he could rest in peace." Ozzy's funeral was held in a private atmosphere. His son, Jack Osbourne, choked up. "My father didn't want anyone to cry. But if he could, he would smile because he could finally sleep in peace." The legend has passed, but his legacy, from Black Sabbath, the music with the sound of hell, to the image of a man who fell to the bottom but always got back up, will forever be engraved in the hearts of millions. And in the heart of the music world, there is still a question that has never been answered. What was really in Ozzy Osbourne's final diary?